You already know when I get a box with this word on it, it's gonna be a good time. Yolopark has once again sent me one of their brand new items, and I have a pretty good idea of which one this is, but I'll save this. You already have seen the thumbnail, you already know. It's Apelinq! It's their AMK Pro X Series Apelinq. This is a brand new line from Yolopark. They've done AMK, they've done AMK Pro, now it's AMK Pro X. I'm very curious how this is different from the previous AMKs and even the other AMK Pros like the G1 Optimus and Megatron. Very curious to see what this Apelinq has to offer. Now, one awesome thing about this Apelinq is that it's the robot mode version of Apelinq, something we never saw in the movie. So I'm very excited to see how this turns out. Oh, wow. Well, for starters, the box is pretty big. Here, let's get this box out of the way. This is a pretty nicely sized box. There's definitely a lot more going on with this guy than with the other AMKs. I'm seeing a lot of paint, which is really cool, because Apelinq was very silver in the movie. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm pretty sure this is going to scale with the other AMKs, so I do have, like, the other Rise of the Beast Maximals to compare it with. Here's a bit of a bio that might actually help. AMK Pro X is a brand new series launched by Yolopark. It redesigns well-known characters from a more modern perspective, with rich details and surface coatings, as well as exclusive display stands which elevate the artistry and sophistication of the products to the extreme. That is cool. So I'm guessing AMK Pro X is to the extreme. Basically, I feel like this line's probably going to have, like, interpretations of characters we haven't seen before. So, robot mode, Apelinq, you know, we might see, you know, modernized redesigns of various other toys or various other characters. I'm very excited to see how this line progresses. So there is a lot of call-outs. Something about the shoulders. He has a thermal cannon on the shoulder. Exquisitely sculpted hair. He's got hair, he's got his big arm blades, a back with rich mechanical details, crotch joint, that movable range of up to 90 degrees. The display base looks super cool. You get the maximal symbol, it has like a rock pattern. That is cool. Alright, we've looked at the box long enough. I need to see this toy, I need to build this, and I need to review this, because I'm very excited. This is currently available for pre-order on Yolopark's website. If you want to use my referral link, it is down in the description and in the comments. That would definitely be highly suggested because this toy is probably going to be absolutely insane. Look at all the different layers of clam trays. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's get this out. Okay. So we got various clam trays right here. So obviously the top one is going to be a lot of the main components. Oh, wow! Okay, this is really different from other, like, AMKs. Because you can see this is essentially just, like, the endoskeleton. You can see, like, obviously that's his head. But then you can just see it's, like, components and pieces where the armor will go over it. So it's definitely going to be a more involved building experience than probably any other AMK before. So that's really nice. So far, it's looking awesome. For sure. Looking absolutely awesome. Alright, next layer, we have, looks like, obviously, some armor bits. Man, there's so much armor to this guy. And look at the silver paint. That paint looks really nice. This looks really, really nice. Oh, there's the hair they're calling out. That'll go on the head. I guess those are the shoulder cannons. Alright. And then we have, oh, these are, like, some more organic armor pieces, it looks like. So we got some hair. We have, like, some gorilla skin, I guess. Yeah, that's looking really cool, too. And then I'm guessing this bottom tray is going to have, like, oh, yeah, that display base. That is heavy. That is a heavy base. Then the arm blades and the Maximal logo. Alrighty. Let me work on getting this guy built on up, and let's take a closer look at him, because I am very excited to see what this guy has to offer. Alright, so I want to build the endoskeleton first, because I'm just very curious about how this is going to turn out. This plastic definitely is very comparable to previous Yolopark plastics that I've definitely built. You know, I've built many Yolopark figures so far. Pretty much built them all, right? Ooh, some of these joints are pretty tight. They are pretty tight to get in there. But I'm sure once it's in there, it'll be rock solid. Oh, geez. Oh, the strength you have to use on that. Wow. That is such a cool head sculpt for Apelinq. Like, you can tell it's very similar to Optimus Primal, but it's just very unique and different. And then the arms, do we have some piston-y action? Yeah, we got like some moving piston-y stuff. Very excited to get all the armor on too, but I just kind of want to see what it looks like as the endoskeleton, because I've never seen a Yolopark figure built like this. You definitely have to use that close to the chest strength for putting on some of these joints, because you can see how long that peg is, and it has to go all the way down in here. So it's hard to do it at like arm's length, so you have to like have it close to your body to really get it pushed in. Or you can just be me and use man strength. Urgh. And last but not least, let's give him a couple hands. We'll do an open hand on this side. Oh, does he have a pointing hand? I always love seeing a pointing hand. He does! So he can lead his Maximals. Alright, so we'll give him a pointing hand. I might keep him with that. I love a good pointing hand. And then we'll give him a fist instead. There we go. We'll give him this more fisted hand. Alright, there's the endoskeleton built. And first impressions, just based off of this, I mean, it's just as impressive as any other Yolopark AMK. It definitely has a little bit more enhanced, like, engineering, and, you know, a lot of the other Yolopark AMKs aren't this broken down when it comes to armor bits and skeleton bits. So it's really cool to see some of the more engineering elements, like with the joints and everything and the hinges. Man, Yolopark just does an awesome job, like, designing mechanical toys. That is very, very impressive so far. Alrighty, next up we gotta start getting some of this armor on. And this is where I'm going to have to start consulting the instructions, because this is a very new design, obviously. I don't just know it, so I'm going to have to look at the instructions to see which armor pieces go where. Hopefully this will be fairly simple, and hopefully me building the endoskeleton first won't make this more complicated. Alright, wish me luck. So abs go there, and look at those abs. Oh my gosh, that is impressive. So far I can definitely say this is one of the most complex Yolopark AMK assembly experiences. It's mostly because all the pieces are the same color, and since it's a design no one's really familiar with, it's not like you can just grab the armor plate and you're like, oh yeah, that's Optimus Prime's chest, that's his shoulder. No, it's like, here's this, metallic shard of metal, find where it goes on this monkey robot. I will say, though, the instructions are pretty good about showing you, what goes where and everything. Alright, so the hair actually just goes on top of the head, and that's like an armor panel that goes around the head right there. That's cool, though. I love that they gave him hair. That just kind of adds this whole other element of, dang, it just looks so cool. You look so cool with hair like that. Oh, it's such a cool design. So one thing I noticed about the instructions is this piece right here. This piece is two pieces that are screwed together, but on the instructions it shows them as two separate pieces that you put on. I just want to make that a little bit more clear so you're not confused like I was for a minute there. Alright, the torso is pretty much done. I love these little plasma cannons. Kind of a bit of a throwback to OG Optimus Primal in that mold. So a lot of the pieces are like a softer rubbery plastic, and it makes it pretty easy to put a lot of this armor on, but there is a couple instances of like the tab being the softer plastic and the slot being the harder plastic, which makes it a little difficult to get it on, because I always believe that a harder tab and a softer slot makes for an easier assembly experience. But honestly, except for like one little bit on the shoulder, I'm not really having a lot of trouble. One good thing too, a lot of the parts have R's and L's on them, so that makes it pretty easy. Look at that bicep armor. Look at how cool that looks. That is so scarred up. I've said it 1,000 times and I'll say it again. Just the overall design philosophy for the Maximals for Rise of the Beasts is some of my favorite Transformers design work of all time. Just something about like the tribal armor mixed with so much exposed like robotic detail underneath. It's just so cool, man. And I think Yolopark did a great job like translating that design philosophy into a character that we never even saw the robot mode of. Alright, and last of these metallic armored pieces is this really cool like shoulder pauldron. God, that is just so cool looking. Looks like it tabs in up front here, and it'll just like drape over the arm. Easiest to squeeze it on like this. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that looks so cool. Oh, it looks so regal. Man, you can just tell this is a leader right here. Dang. Why did Rise of the Beast make Apelinq? Such a cool character. If you don't even know who Apelinq really was before Rise of the Beast, I think he was just a repaint of Optimus Primal in, like, what, the Universe line, maybe? Just some other, you know, line that came out shortly after Beast Wars. I think it was just, like, a red Optimus Primal. That was Apelinq. And now he is his own character, thanks to Rise of the Beast. And that's so cool. Alrighty, these are some of our last bits. These are the more organic-y bits, it looks like. Let's start off with the best piece of all time. And second best. There we go. Then I think the majority of the remainder of this armor is going to go on the legs. So which leg? Right leg. Alright, we're almost done. I definitely do have to stress that my, complaint about the design philosophy of soft pegs going into hard slots definitely does carry true a little bit with this guy. Because some stuff, you have to really force it in. Look at my thumb. That's the paint. That's the paint coming off on my thumb from how hard I have to push on some of these parts. But it's not too bad. It's not the end of the world. It's just a matter of figuring out the strength and the tolerances. This is one of the easiest pieces to put on because, as you can see, it's a soft slot and a hard peg. Because it's always easier for the slot to kind of give way a little bit for a harder peg than for a soft peg, like giving way and like squishing into a hard slot. It's kind of difficult sometimes to do that. And with this last piece right here, we are almost done. All we have left are the arm blades and the base. Alright, last bits. Last bits, here we go. So here's our display base. This is very nice and heavy. This is substantial. Look at that. That is fancy-dancy. It's one of the nicest looking display bases I have probably ever seen. That looks very nice. But we got to put this very pretty looking Maximal symbol on it. Dang, just look at the little specklings on that. Wow. And for the record, that little black on my thumbnail is actually paint from the figure. This is definitely the most involved assembly I've ever had for a Yolopark product so far. But it's not too bad. It's pretty much just a matter of, getting everything on. It might be easier for you if you want to heat up some of the plastic. If you're someone that would rather do that, that might actually make the assembly a little bit easier on you. But let's get these arm blades on. There's one. And then last but not least, our final part to finish our Rise of the Beast Apelinq. There's two. Alright, there we go. Let's set them on this base. Oh, magnets. Okay, magnets. That's cool. Magnets. Yeah, that's nice. Alrighty, let's take a closer look. So once you get all of these soft plastic armor bits attached, what you are left with is a super cool looking Maximal leader. Just like I already showed, look at this head sculpt. That is so awesome. I personally love the hair. I think that looks really sweet, but if you're not a fan of it, guess what? You can just remove it, and it still has a perfectly fine sculpted head underneath. So, it's kind of nice that they left that as an option if you either like or don't like that design. I love the little cannons on the shoulders. Those look really cool. I like the little bit of paint on the tips of them. I love the yellow eyes. Those just look very nice and piercing. Little Maximal symbol right there. He's got tons of black wash. Essentially, it's like these softer plastic pieces that are painted gunmetal gray with a black wash all throughout it. And it looks really pretty. It does come off on your thumb as you're building it. But honestly, the assembly process, it's generally painless. But I do have to say, some of the pieces do feel like you're slotting in like a Mr. Potato Head arm into a Mr. Potato Head. If you play with Mr. Potato Heads, you know how it is. It's just those soft pegs and those hard ports. But I love the difference here with like the soft looking fur textures on some of the armor panels. That just looks so cool. It does have nice little paint details even on the endoskeleton, like some little pistons and everything. Yeah, this is something else, man. This is something else. Looking very, very impressive. The display base too. Look at this rock texture and the little pipings and like this industrial looking fan that's all chopped apart. That is impressive. That is really cool. Definitely going to display this guy on this base because it looks super nice. All right, articulation on our AMK Pro X Apelinq. We have a ball joint at the head as well as a hinge, so he can look down a lot. He can look up a little bit, but the hair is kind of going to start coming off if you do that. Pretty good head articulation overall. The torso is on a rocker. A little bit of a crunch, not too much. You do have a waist swivel. The shoulders are on those super massive, really tight ball joints that I struggled to put on at the start. His little cannons are on rotatory joints. That's a word now. But when you do rotate them, it seems like they kind of want to come out on their own as you're rotating them. His shoulders can move up. There goes an armor panel. Goes down, bicep swivel. There goes another armor panel. This panel in particular came off the most during the assembly. I think it's just how it's put on. It just doesn't have enough give or like enough force onto it, and has too much wiggle room, so it's easy when you're like moving the arm to just knock it out of place. So I think that one probably could have been attached a little bit more solidly. But the arms do have pretty good articulation, very nice elbow bend. You can rotate the arm blades, and this armor panel right here is actually on a hinge and a ball joint system, so you can have that kind of move in different ways if you want. Kind of cool given how his arm panels slid around in the movie in gorilla mode. His hips, they're on drop downs, and they can move up all of the way. They can move out to the side. These front little armor panels can move out of the way as well, but honestly, they move so close in tandem with the legs, just kind of keep them with the legs. The knees bend nice and good. Definitely liking that. Then the ankles move up and down just a little bit, it seems, and then they tilt side to side. He does also have these little toe joints too. You can move for a little bit of extra stability, I suppose, and a front toe joint as well. So the articulation on this guy is really nice. I would say it's pretty on par with like a normal AMK Rise of the Beast figure. It's just the main differences are that he has tons more armor panels. They're made out of softer plastic. They're all painted. Real quick for hand options, you have his nice pointing hand. You have an open fist right there. You have open hands for both sides as well. You have a right open fist. You have a right closed fist. And, you know, obviously both open hands. So pretty nice alternate hand options. And to close out this video, I have to have him standing with his Maximals. So here he is with Optimus Primal. And you can see these are pretty much the same size. So he will scale well with your Rise of the Beast AMK series figures. So that's really cool. So there's Primal right there. We'll have Cheetor right behind Primal since we get a little bit of space. Hopefully they'll give us an AMK Air Razor too, because even though we never saw her robot mode in the movie, you know, Studio Series made one, they could just do something like they did with Apelinq. That'd be really cool. That is a super cool display. I am loving that. So overall, what are my thoughts on this AMK Pro X Apelinq from Yolopark? I think it's really cool, but this is so far the most finicky experience I've had with a Yolopark model. You saw it in the video. Some of the parts, they just come off while you're posing it. That's not really a thing with other AMK figures. I think the main reason is because other AMKs are made out of harder plastics. It's all hard plastic. But this guy, all of the armor is soft. All of it. Not a single bit of the armor is harder plastic, and that makes it more difficult to put on, more difficult to stay on, easier to accidentally wiggle off. It definitely makes it a more difficult building experience, more finicky building experience, and in my opinion, as constructive criticism towards Yolopark, moving forward with AMK Pro Series X, I would not use soft plastic. I would use harder plastics. I see why they might have wanted to use soft plastic, since there's a lot more intricate sculpted details here that may have been more fragile, more brittle with the harder plastics. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it's worth the trade-off. You do get a super incredible, awesome looking figure at the end of the day. This Apelinq is awesome. I still love it. Still one of my favorite AMK figures. It's really cool how there is like this new series of AMK that will actually already fit with your pre-existing AMKs. I think that's super cool. But me as a reviewer, I can't, you know, review this without stating that I do feel like that is a downside. I have to be brutally honest. However, that constructive criticism does not mean that you should not get this thing. It's still super fun. If you love what AMK has already done so far with Rise of the Beast, you're going to love this Apelinq. You are. Like I said, you know, if you're struggling with some of the parts, heat them up. if you have to cut a tab or two so it'll slot in a little easier. I didn't have to do that, but, you know, if you feel that necessary, it's an option. It is a model kit after all. Usually with model kits, you got to bust out the knife at some point. With AMK, you normally don't have to, but hey, you know, if you feel the need with this guy, it's an option. It's an option. I still really love it. I still really recommend it. If you want to go down into the description or in the comments, check out my referral link. You can save 5% on AMK Rise of the Beast series. With this guy, you cannot save 5%, but still using the referral link does help me out if it's something that you're interested in. I'm really happy with what Yolopark is doing. This is still a super awesome figure that I really have to recommend. I'm really excited to see what other companies do with Apelinq as well. It's really awesome, though, to see that Yolopark's the first one out the gate with a really cool-looking Apelinq. And out of all these four, I think the Apelinq's my favorite. He just looks so sweet. Look at him. It's incredible. Alrighty, I'm going to take a bit of a break. The raw footage was 52 minutes on this video. And I'm going to have to do a lot of editing on this, too. So I'm going to just take a little break, play with this guy a little bit more. I'll let you know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special thanks to Yolopark for sending this out, as well as special thanks to channel members as well. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Have a great one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.